Excuse me. So, what we got here? Why wealthy families use public business? Killing me. So, you're probably thinking like, oh, he's just gonna come out and say these these basic reasons as to why wealthy families use public business. I'm tired of this dude talking about the same thing all the time. And to that, I say I don't care if you're tired, but I will say that I'm gonna kick it a little different today, because I want to talk about private wealth and private business, but I guess specifically, I always talk about that, right? I specifically, excuse me, wax lyrical regarding establishing private and public structures and specific system to maximize wealth and legally mitigate taxes is what I talk about all the time. It's really, you're going to break it down. What do you do? Hey, I really just be breaking down specific system to maximize wealth and legally mitigate taxes through, multiple public and private structures, man. This is just do dance. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, I don't give legal advice, I don't even do nothing. I just be chilling. But I really speak on true fundamentals of why, or more to the point, the how, right? I mean, trust and okay, fine. Today I want to discuss why wealthy families use public business. But before I do that, I want to discuss value. I told you it's going to be a little different. So, value. And I'm going to say the definition of value. And this is in Black's Law, 4th edition. This is my favorite law dictionary. It's the 4th edition. I got the 4th Deluxe. It's old. It smells like old people, garage, and attic. But it does a dance. So, value. The utility of an object in satisfying directly or indirectly the needs or desires of human beings, called by economists value in use. Or it's worth consisting in the power of purchasing other objects, called value in exchange. So, the utility of an object to satisfy directly or indirectly the needs and desires of human beings. This is value in use. So, do you have value in use of your car? Do you find value in the use of your stove? Do you find value in the use of your shoes? When you put them on your feet and you walk outside and you step on some glass, you don't get tore off and bleed out on the side of the sidewalk. Value. Please just stay with me. I'm going slow, y'all, but I'm going deep because this is how I think, and this is how I have this established in my mind. So you have value in use. Do you understand value in use? The utility of an object. What is an object? A car, a pair of shoes. These are objects. Value. Utility. So we measure the value in its utility of objects. You understand what I'm saying? Stoves, cars, stay with me. Or it's worth consisting in the power of purchasing other objects, called value in exchange. So the worth of purchasing other objects. So you're not using it, not value in use, but the value in exchange. Also, the estimated or appraised worth of any object or property calculated in money. Value. All right. 1, value in use. Utility. your stove, your car, you value your stove. If I was like, yo, let me get your stove, you'd be like, what? What are you talking about? If I just walked up and knocked on your door. Like, peace, this is Sot. You'd be like, what's up, Sot? I'm like, let me get your stove. You look at me crazy. You're like, well, what? Because you value that stove. You value the utility. You have value in the use of that object. Y'all follow what I'm saying? Now, there's value in exchange. The easiest way to understand value in exchange is to look at money, or what we call money is fiat. So you look at dollars, these notes. There's value in the exchange of these notes. There's no value in holding them. There's no value in saving them. There's only value in exchanging them for other objects. Then there is the estimated or appraised worth of any object or property calculated in money. Value. Any consideration sufficient to support a simple contract. Consideration. Value. And you can get into accepted for value, but I don't do that dance because y'all know I don't. Y'all go holler at Yusuf for that. But I hope you see where I'm coming from. Now, understanding value and the concept of value is paramount. So many things depend upon it. If you do not understand the value of the currency you hold, you make an easy target for fraud, for theft, for inflated prices, for paying too much for something than it's worth, than its actual value. Quantifying value is easy enough. We have markets. We have competition through commerce that drives prices. Even artificial intelligence is driving prices. Peep game when I'm talking about on these current events. Think of all of the different ways you determine price. Think of it. Whether we're talking about socks or a ride or some gas. Think of all the different ways you determine price. Value is the most important thing to understand when you hear what I'm about to say. Labor is money. Your labor is your property. The definition of value, also the estimate or appraised worth of any object or property. And this is one of the biggest misconceptions or misunderstandings of our people. We don't understand that our labor is our property. We do not assign a value to our labor. We allow others to assign value to our labor. And we say, oh, this is what we're paying. We can't pay more than this. And these fools know that if they have any problems with their company, they're going to lay off the laborer. Why? Because those in business, I'm about to tell y'all a business secret. One of the things about business is said, you never smarten up a chump. Charge them for the service. Another thing is, we understand that as business administrators, I'm not even going to say owners because, in my situation, the trust owns the joint. Business administrators understand the labor markets. We understand how they work. And we understand that most laborers are heavily indebted to this system. And that we value things, money, cash, items, cars, clothes, these depreciating assets more than we value our labor, our life, our force, our energy, our days and time that we will never get back, that we give or exchange to this corporation at the detriment of our family and our dreams for a certain amount of fiat currency that we value more than our time and our labor. I'm convinced that education in this country is so rudimentary is to reduce the overall population's knowledge regarding true assets and money and what real wealth is. Labor. Labor is real wealth. The control of labor is real wealth. Understanding how to divide labor creates, manifests, constitutes, and begets wealth. Do you hear what I'm saying? When citizens exist who do not know true value of their labor, those that do know can control large amounts of labor through public business. Nothing moves on this planet without labor. Why wealthy families use public business? I got a American jurisprudence on corporations, but this one's the legal forms. You know, you got American jurisprudence, then you got legal forms. I'm looking at the legal forms, man. I got a lot of this stuff. When persons contemplate joining together in some sort of business association for profit, care must be exercised in deciding what form of association will best suit the purpose of the parties involved. There are several basic forms of business associations in use, each having different attributes and each having advantages and disadvantages. There are joint ventures, partnerships, limited partnerships, partnerships as associations or limited partner associations, joint stock companies, Massachusetts or business trusts, limited liability companies, and corporations. Detailed treatment of types of business associations other than corporations is given in other chapters. The principal advantage of a corporate form of business are continuity of corporate existence, which means the business never dies. Despite the death or disability of an owner or manager, the general free transferability of shares representing ownership of the corporation and the limited liability of the stockholders. An additional advantage is that the flexibility in financing a corporate business enterprise. A corporation may issue securities in various forms of shares that may be divided into different classes representing differing claims or interest in the corporate assets or income, as well as different degrees of control of corporate activities. Basic non-tax disadvantages of corporate form of business consist of such matters as the trouble of expense incident to the formation and organization of the corporation, lack of centralized control, and general greater government control of corporate activities, both federal and state. In this area, special attention must be given to federal acts such as the Securities Act of 1933, the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, and similar legislation. On the state level, in addition to careful contemplation and compliance with specific statutes governing the formation, management, merger, and consolidation, dissolution, and winding up of corporations and similar matters, Article 8 of the Uniform Commercial Code governs investment securities must be kept in mind. Other advantages is the limitation of liability. Corporate advantages includes being able to create debts in the name of the corporation and limit the liability of the corporate owners to just the corporation itself. And understanding the division of labor is a big thing. Check it out. The opportunity cost of becoming a skilled worker includes both the direct expenses as well as the foregone labor during the training period or apprenticeship. As a result, skilled workers must be paid higher wages than unskilled workers. Did you know that's why? Did you know that's why? That's the reason why skilled workers are paid more is because the opportunity cost of them getting that education, basically, they lost money that they could have been making while learning to do what they're doing. In addition to training and the forces of supply and demand, workers with higher quality skills, risky jobs, or jobs that require trustworthy employees will receive higher wages. This is now known as the theory of compensating differentials. I know. The supply of workers adjusts itself to the demand of labor across all professions via wage rates, migration, and changes in population. Prosperity cannot be created by subsidizing job training. And then this is like some college stuff. You can check this out at, lumenlearning.com. It's called Labor Market Equilibrium and Wage Determinants. It basically says in the key points, firms will hire more labor when the marginal revenue product of labor is greater than the wage rate. Basically saying firms will hire more labor when the rate of what the labor is making is less than what they're paying for the labor. And they stop hiring as soon as the two values are equal. The point at which the marginal revenue product of labor exceeds the marginal cost, then the firm will be better off by spending more on labor and less on capital. The point at which the marginal revenue product of labor equals the prevailing wage rate is the labor market equilibrium. The marginal decision rule says that a firm will shift spending among factors of production as long as the marginal benefit of such shift exceeds the marginal costs. Wealth is labor, and I know this is deep, but you got to understand what I'm saying. So the labor theory of value. The labor theory of value was an early attempt by economists to explain why goods were exchanged for certain relative prices on the market. It suggested that the value of a commodity was determined by and could be measured objectively by the average number of labor hours necessary to produce it. In the labor theory of value, the amount of labor that goes into producing an economic good is the source of the good's value. So the labor that goes into produce a good is the source of the value of the good. The labor that goes into providing a service is the source of the value of the service. And someone say, well, it's not just labor because I had to learn how to do this. Well, it took you labor to learn how to do it. And this is why wealthy families use public businesses. They use it because we don't understand the value of our life, plain and simple. You might not like how it sounds. You might not say, so you ain't talking to me. I value my life. And you may value your life in the sense that you want to live a good life. You don't want to be bothered. You don't want any stress. You want to eat good foods. You value, the fact that you're able to spend time with your children and so on and so forth. I'm talking about your life when you exchange it as labor. The value is off. And I know through my studies of the public educational system that the public educational system was set up by wealthy individuals and families to fund their enterprises with human labor capital. You go work for our business. You come work for our family business. Don't go make your own. And if you don't know the value of your labor and the compounding value of labor when you apply education, specific education, apprenticeship or whatever, so we don't value the things that we should ultimately value, which is the life force that we exchange for these currency notes. And wealthy families know that. They know that. They know that we go to public school. They know that we like cash. Cash rules everything around me, cream. And they know we throwing it in the air. They know all of these things. And they know that if you're not willing to accept this hourly wage of fiat currency, there's someone right behind you that will. Because there are an abundant number of uneducated individuals that do not understand the value of their labor, that do not understand that you disrespect the value of your labor when you don't utilize at least a portion of your labor for your own family enterprise. Because every time you walk into your business and you punch in, that is a business that is set up. If you go far enough back and you follow the money, you will find that all businesses in the world somehow tie back to a private family or a private family estate. And that's just the way it is. And it benefits those with knowledge. To have those without. So, I mean, this is why. I mean, you know, I know I kind of went, you know, I came in hot and sideways. But, you know, all I'm doing is attempting to, you know, educate the people. And I know through proper education, we can, you know, provide a proper demonstration. And through proper demonstration, we are able to achieve things in our lives that we never thought we could achieve. And I know what it's like to look at someone or look at people and wonder how they do it and feel so disconnected from someone else because of their success or their language or their swagger or, you know, the clothes that they're wearing, you know, just how well kept they are or whatever, how much money they have, whatever. And there's very few of those people that recognize that disconnect and try to bridge that disconnect. Most of the motivation is a sort of resentment because we don't have what they do. But then when you achieve a certain level of, I don't know, wealth, I guess, do you become the ones that you resented? Are you now one of those that you resented? See, because that's a weird mind trick. If you resent those with wealth or you resent those that have it when you don't, psychologically and subconsciously, you've kind of blocked a wall on becoming one of those people, someone that has what I don't. It's a psychological barrier. It's a psychological trick. And we need to be able to recognize these psychological things and errors of thought so that we can break what's going on with us and then not teach it, or at least teach less of it in subsequent generations, you know? I think it's important, you know, as well as, you know, getting your finances in order, understanding what true wealth is, you know, setting up your private estate. But concepts that we weren't taught in school, value. What is value? How is value determined? Is it in use or in value in exchange? Or is it value in consideration? And why wasn't I taught that my labor is the most valuable thing on this earth when it comes to commercial activity? Because all entities in commerce, where you talking about a public LLC or a private business trust, it's not a living, breathing entity. It's a fictional entity. It's fiction. It wasn't created by the creator. It was created by us. It was constructed. It can't do anything on its own. It needs living, breathing men and women to move for it, whether it's a public business or a private trust. And when you start thinking about things from that angle, things start to trip. I remember a guy back like 10 years ago, he told me, everything that you buy is paid for already. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, everything that you bought, everything that you buy in the stores, it's paid for already. And man, it blew my, because I man, there's no way I could wrap my mind around what he was saying. It was a guy. He was very smart. I seek out mentors. I seek out people who I feel are smarter than me, and I just try to ask him questions and learn as much as I can from him. So I knew he wasn't playing with me. He wasn't really, and he wasn't messing around. He was telling me the truth, but he was the type of guy that wouldn't come out and tell you. He wants you to do mental work, and I understand that now because I had to do work. And you got to spoon feed people who haven't sat down and done the prerequisite study and substantiation, and due diligence that you have, because it's a lot of work, A work being is worthy of the hire. If not, man, find your own way. But yeah, he's like, everything you bought has already been paid for. And I was like, how's it paid for? And he's like, it's paid for by labor. It was brought into existence in a form that had value because it was infused with value through the labor necessary to put it together, to mold it, to fire it, to form it, to whatever it was. Without labor, everything lays the way it is, raw materials, raw commodities. Nothing moves without labor. You need to understand what value is. You got to understand why wealthy families use public business. Do yourself a favor. Download the app on your Amazon. Your Amazon. Wow. You might have a Kindle, but download the app on your Android or your iOS. It's called LibriVox. LibriVox. LIB as in boy. RIV as in Victor. OX. LibriVox, and it's like Audible. It's like those apps that they got audio books, right? But I like this one because it has volunteers that read books where the copyright is up, so it's for free. You might have to listen to an ad or something, but it's for free. But look up The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. It's a really old book. It's called The Wealth of Nations. And listen to that. The dude who reads it, his voice is, oh my God, the dude's it's like he's standing in the closet putting on his socks. It's like so boring and monotonous. But if you can catch what this dude Adam Smith was talking about with regards to the wealth of nations and how it breaks down to the division of labor, you can get, a foundation of what I'm talking about and where I'm coming from. Because this is nothing new. And the biggest thing about all this stuff, whether it breaks down to, understanding that labor is the most valuable thing and the currency and anything that we get with it is secondary, is a big paradigm shift. Understanding that this isn't money, it's a big paradigm shift. Understanding that there's entities that can be created privately and will be recognized in the public to do business but aren't regulated by the public state. This was a paradigm shift for me. It's like, what? What are you talking about? And then just the fact that, the wealth of nations, we talking about nations with all these budgets and stuff, with these deficits, their wealth is predicated upon labor and the division of labor. And they figured out that instead of having one guy make the arrows because he can make, 18 arrows a day, you can have one guy make the shaft of the arrow, one guy make the tip, and one guy make the whatever the end called with the feathers, I don't know, whatever it is on the end. And you can make 44 arrows a day if you properly divide the labor. So not only did people hundreds of years ago understand that wealth is predicated upon labor, they understand how to perpetuate and exponentially add to wealth by dividing labor into specific tasks. And now you wonder why trade schools don't really exist anymore, and why they only teach you a single degree in these public schools, when if we talk in degrees, there's 360 degrees in a circle. which equals completion. So a single degree is far from complete. And further and further specialize your labor to doing one thing that is dependent on other people to do their things to get the completed product. Yes, it's better for the company, but it's not good for the laborer, because what true skill do you have if that job is to lay you off because the numbers are bad for the last quarter? And this doesn't apply to everybody, but understand, maybe it does. Maybe it does. So it provokes thought in, what do I do every day for this company, and that makes that company money, and of course I get a piece of the money that I make for the company that I can't do every day for my private family and make money, because there'd be so many extra people needed. And that's why the wealthy use public business, division of labor. There's always going to be people who don't understand the value of their labor, the value of their life when it comes to exchanging it. There's always going to be people that need to be governed. There's always going to be people that need to have laws written and be told to obey, because there's choice. And as long as there's choice, there's going to be people who make the other choice. And this, is a small thing to me, and I don't like to speak on such contrivances, but the wealthy use family businesses, family public businesses, because they understand the value of labor. Now, hopefully, you understand the value of labor, the value of your labor, the value of your labor when it comes to a complete task versus the portion of a task. You follow what I'm saying? And that's why I tell people to start a business, whatever. Start a business. Well, stop saying I and start thinking about your family. Start thinking about your heirs. Start thinking about your grandchildren. Your great-grandchild with lupus and learning disabilities that don't have to go out and fight for a job, try to get a job, or have to live off a state disability, because he can be a janitor at the company that you created 3 generations beforehand. You got to start thinking more holistic than the simplistic individualism, because that's the trick as well. Start a family business. Start a business, man. I mean, if we're lucky, the children will pick it up. If they don't, so what? As long as the private estate owns the majority interest and receives the profits from the business, it don't matter who runs it. It don't matter who the CEO is. It better be a good CEO, make the money, player. It don't matter who the administrators are. It don't matter who works there. At least you have the option. The family has the option to give any family member a job. Yeah, go in here. What can you do? Can you file papers? All right, so-and-so works here. This is your new. We want you to. Oh, that's because you see her last name. That's because she's part of the family. Whisper, 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 whisper. Flip the script. You can start off buying and selling stuff on Craigslist. There's so many things that you can do. It's just, all you got to do is sit down and think, how can I start a business tomorrow? If I was going to start a business tomorrow, what would I do? How can I start a business tomorrow and get going? What would I need to do to get going? How can I is a question you need to be asking. Because there's so many things that we're missing. So much money being left on the table. So much time being wasted. So much life and energy expended and focused in the wrong direction. And subconsciously it wears on us. The all-seeing eye, in my opinion, is your subconscious mind. It sees everything. Your conscious mind, you can, well, she made me mad, so that's why I disrespected her. Your conscious mind you can pretty much talk yourself into anything. Subconscious mind sees everything. A lot of us have a lot of issues in our lives, in our relationships, and so on and so forth, because our subconscious mind is displeased. Is at odds with our conscious mind because we're double-minded. Subconscious mind wants and craves one thing: peace, tranquility, respect, love. Conscious mind is ego, me, wants this, that, I. You can't serve two masters. Your subconscious is about family, sticking together, love. Conscious mind is mostly about me, and I like you, so I'll hook you up because you're kind of me, or you're kind of like an accessory to me, so I want you to look good type stuff. A lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. And yeah, it's not you. You went to public school. There's a lot of stuff they didn't teach you. There's a lot of things that we don't know, that we didn't know. But we felt it. You felt it. You knew. That's the reason why you're checking out this episode right now. So it's restless. Your subconscious mind is restless. Your spirit is restless. It needs something that you haven't given it yet. That's why you feel the way you do. I know this because I felt the same way. When people do drugs, alcohol, start getting abusive to people, maybe getting destructive, a lot of things that are negative, that are destructive type. But when it comes time to build, we don't know what to do. It starts small. We got to understand very, very small things. We got to understand what value is. We got to understand where value comes from. The only reason why you're holding up that gold piece is because I value it. And I'm willing to expend my labor however necessary to get it up to a certain point. That's the basics of business. And that's why wealthy families use public business. And I hope you've learned something with this episode. I really do. I do this for y'all. I put my blood, sweat, and tears in this thing. I got people asking me if I'm an agent. You know what I'm saying? Like, this stuff is weird. It's wild. And I get it, though, because I know in a lot of conversations and a lot of interactions, I felt it before. You feel very, very disconnected, very far away from people. Even though they may sound like you or act like you, feel very far away, How did you do what you do? How did you get what you get? How are you so different from me? And yet I feel so close to you. Must be some sort of manipulation. No. We're different because I've done so many different things. So there's things that I did not do, and there's things that I did do. No matter what anyone else standing next to me or talking to me or saying things to me about future and what things, I didn't care. I did things and I didn't do things. And a lot of the things I did do was different than the things that other people were doing. And a lot of things that I didn't do was different than the things that other people were doing. And it was a sacrifice, and it required consistency. It required dedication. It required humility. I studied, I learned, I asked questions. I tell people, I don't know. I ask questions. You say something, I don't know the word. I'm like, well, what does that mean? I don't care if I look stupid. I can look stupid for 30 seconds. So I asked a question. If you don't ask a question, you look stupid for your life. I grew up on Tupac. Coward dies 1,000 deaths. A soldier just won. I'm afraid of what? I'm afraid to try. I'm afraid to do something. I'm afraid to attempt. I'm afraid to fail. That's cowardice. And I can't do that. I wake up at night feeling a certain way about myself. I'm restless. It bothers me. So I got to do my dance. And You can too. It's all about what you do and what you don't do. It's that simple. What do you do? Does it serve you and your family? What don't you do? Does that serve you and your family? Start flipping it. Start making changes. Little ones at first, larger ones if you feel like it. Don't overwhelm yourself. Do your dance. 10 seconds left in the broadcast. 563-999-3625. You'll get cut off. I'm almost finished. I'm almost finished. No one had a chance to call in. My bad. But it is what it is, hey. I can wax poetic, lyrical, whatever, with regards to trust, with regards to foundation, with regards to public, entities that are owned majorly, held in interest by a private entity, trustee training, trust series. It's up to you. It's about what you do and what you don't do. And there's two ways you can do this. What did you do? I hit up Sot. I got into trustee training. I let the man put me on. What did you not do? I did not hit up Sot. I did not get into trustee training. I did not start my own business. I did not learn how. I did not ask how I can. I did not try. It's about what you do and what you don't do. And the choice is up to you. Hey, y'all, I appreciate you. I trust that you learned something with this show, with this episode of the foundation. I definitely appreciate you checking it out. I appreciate all the new listeners. Shout out to the new listeners. And, definitely shout out to the OGs. Definitely want to say what's up. Like I said, I'll do this for you. The mission of the foundation is a trust. It's to reestablish the foundational understanding and education of doing business and protecting the assets in the public. Reestablishing the foundational education and understanding of doing business in the public. I think we do a lot of things for all the wrong reasons, and we don't do things for all the wrong reasons. So, this is an educational, charitable endeavor. And if you would like to help us out, admin at welcometothefoundation.com, or you can go to welcometothefoundation.com, make a donation. If you want to get into trustee training, email me, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. It is very comprehensive. It's pretty extensive. It's hands-on, and, I'll take care of you. Check out welcometothefoundation.com. Got the Passport No Social, Part 1, Part 2, Trust Series, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Foundation Trust Primer. Make sure you check out blogtalk.com/high frequency for all past archives of the foundation. And you can catch Yusuf shows as well. Big brother Yusuf. And happy to announce that we here at the foundation have brought on, we've expanded. How about that? There's more people in the foundation to help, bring this stuff to y'all, help get everything together, help add to the foundation and stuff. I'm gonna let them remain private, but I do want to say thank you for stepping up, and I look forward to doing this dance, for our people with you. So shout out to you. So we got more stuff coming to you. We got the YouTube page going to be updated. I might be doing some live shows, but I will not be showing my face because I'm private. And, we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm looking to expand this year, definitely. Also, I'm looking to, set up a different type of trustee training. That's all I'm going to say right now. You know what I'm saying? Definitely more affordable, but very much less accessible. So there's going to be a trade-off. It's going to be, easily accessible for you to get into this training, but you'll have less access or pretty much no access to me. So there's going to be a tiered system of the training, which is going to allow for a lot of more expansion. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be lovely. It's going to be luxurious, to tell you the truth. It's going to be absolutely luxurious. So with that being said, that's all my announcements. You know what I'm saying? I trust y'all had a wonderful time learning some new stuff, or hopefully I was able to spark something in you to at least inspire you to do something different, or to not do something different, or both. And take control. Start a business. Start an LLC. I don't care. I don't care if the LLC makes $5 a year. Start an LLC. You can't imagine the tax benefits. You can't imagine the benefits of multi-generational wealth. It's very serious. And it's not just for people who are wealthy or who don't look like us. www.welcometothefoundation.com. Who says www anymore? Was that 4 times? Sign up for the email list. Admin at welcometothefoundation.com. Get you a consultation. Get into trustee training. That's it. I don't really do much else. Well, y'all have a great week. Enjoy yourself. Make sure that you, take care of yourself and be good to the people that you love, because, seeing them happy makes you happy. And y'all have a great week. Like I said, make sure you say 10 things that you're thankful for before you go to sleep tonight and every night. And I'll catch you next week here at the same spot, the hottest radio network on the planet, High Frequency Radio Network. I am So L. It has been my pleasure to be here with you today. Why wealthy families use public business. And I will catch you next time here on the Foundation on High Frequency Radio Network. Enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Peace to the gods.
Doing this thing all the way live. High Frequency Radio.